So, this is a documentary on vegetarianism. We're going to be covering the positives, the negatives, and I'm going to be going on a little vegetarian journey for 3 weeks. At the end of each week, I'm going to be vlogging how I felt, what I've ate, etc.
So I'm already vegetarian and I'm going to be basically like helping her out with it, showing her what she can eat, what substitutes to use, things like that. So it's not like she's going into it blind with like no idea.
Throughout the film, we're going to be covering 3 main topics. We'll be covering morals, health and vlog footage.
With morals, we're going to be interviewing people in our class. We're going to be telling them a quote that Phoebe has found and asking them their opinions on it, if they agree with it, if not, and basically it will show us people's morals, opinions on vegetarianism. And for health, we're going to be interviewing a doctor who has been vegetarian for a long time, so he's going to be telling us his personal views on it and obviously the health benefits and how it affects you and your body.
We've decided to do this documentary as vegetarianism is quite a controversial topic. It's spoken about on a daily basis, and we do know that there are quite a lot of documentaries on this out there, but I think we've taken a different approach. A lot of those documentaries tend to show the animals, being killed and all, really put a negative spin on it. We've decided to take more of a hands-on approach with this, as I am being vegetarian for a small amount of time.
So we're hoping by doing this documentary that it's going to make people think, it's going to give them a better understanding, so maybe, I don't know, it will change some people, they'll think about things differently, and yeah.
The next time you're going to see me, I'll be on my vegetarian journey, so see you then. Subway for my first lunch. Woo! Veggie delight. Wanna see what's inside? Right, well, I had all the vegetables except for jalapenos. Look at this. It's a disgrace. So, I got told when I come home I would have vegetable casserole, and my mum has bought free from wheat, gluten, milk and soya, pork sausages, day one, and I nearly failed. Right, Nando's. This is the vegetarian options. I think I'm gonna have that one.
Shit.
I think it looks rather nice, actually. Okay, Phoebe's just got her food and she's going to try it now. This is her reaction.
First bite, I've never had this before at Nando's.
Yeah, because I didn't know what to get.
What do you think?
It tastes like a normal wrap, but without chicken.
Hey, drink.
We got vegetarian sausages. Nice lads. Today's food review, vegetarian sausage wrap. Let's test it out. There's a thumbs up from me. Okay, so it's been a week since I started this vegetarian journey sort of thing, and nothing's really surprised me, I guess. I don't feel any better or any worse within myself. I feel like I got the same amount of energy as usual. I think in terms of how well I've been eating, I think I've been eating worse this past week than I usually do. For example, if I'm at home for my lunch, I'd usually go downstairs, have some mackerel and couscous, healthy, good nutritional value. It's a good lunch, I can't have that now. So I go down and I'm like, right, I look in the cupboards and in the fridge thinking, right, okay, what can I have? Egg and soldiers. There's only so much egg I can take. I know it's a good source of protein, that's replacing the protein in my diet, but I can't have that every day, Cheese on toast. What if I had toast for my breakfast, Don't want 4 slices of bread in a day. I haven't got much choice, there's barely anything in my cupboards. So then I have to go out, pick something up from the shop, usually a meal deal. Again, not much choice in the meal deals. One type of wrap, falafel wrap, or butternut squash pasta, or just tomato and spicy tomato pasta, you know? For my tea, however, my mum is cooking vegetarian meals almost every day. If I'm out for tea, I will usually go and get something. But all in all, it's been an okay experience, you know? Just going to McDonald's wasn't the best. My sister's there ordering a 4 chicken nugget Happy Meal, and I'm sat there with this vegetable burger, which, by the way, was dry, tasteless. It was disgusting. I didn't like it. And I ordered the spicy one, so there's a bit more substance to it. It was gross. Won't be ordering that again. I guess I'll just have to avoid fast food chains because they don't have a lot of vegetarian options, which I think they should change, just FYI. But yeah.
So for this part we've found a quote and we're going to be asking our classmates what they think of the quote and ask them to explain about it, their opinions behind it, and yeah.
A guy called Benjamin Franklin hopped on the vegetarian bandwagon due to being inspired by the vegetarian philosophy discussed in Thomas Tyron's The Way to Health and Long Life. Franklin tried some of the dishes suggested and realised it had economic advantages and his food expenses decreased by half. He could then afford more books, etc. It was an ideal way of living. However, this didn't last long. Franklin was travelling on a ship and watched fish being prepared on board. He saw a smaller fish being removed from the stomach of a cod that had been caught and interpreted this in such a way the whole vegetarian idea had gone out the window. His change of heart was brought on by this quote of his: "If you eat one another, I don't see why we mayn't eat you." What do you think of this?
Right, it doesn't make sense to me because if a fish is eating a fish, it's not saying humans can eat humans.
Well, lions are killing things. That mean it's okay for me to do it. Like a lion can kill a person. That mean I can kill a person.
I disagree because humans can't eat other humans.
Oh, well, I eat meat anyway, so I don't care.
Humans got big brains. We're not that stupid, and we can make moral decisions, and that moral decision shouldn't be eating each other.
It's still a bit stupid because it's talking about animals eating other animals, which means, so you're basically talking about humans eating humans so they can eat us. It doesn't really make much sense, but then it also does mean, like fish, we're eating other fish, why can't we eat them?
Okay, so getting my first meal deal was interesting. I had to go for butternut squash and pumpkin seed pasta, carrots and hummus, and then this drink, which it says on here, vegetarian and vegan. I don't know why lemonade wouldn't be that, but okay. So yeah. It is lunchtime, and this is a point in the day where I question being vegetarian because there's never anything to eat in my house, as in both houses, at my mum's and at my dad's, because no one is vegetarian. We then went to Lawrence Hill Health Centre and had an interview with Dr. Matthew. He spoke to us about his personal views on being vegetarian and just the general health benefits.
We got some questions ready to ask him and about like vitamins, substitutes, all that type of stuff that you won't have an insight into unless you're literally a doctor or, yeah.
Thank you for agreeing to talk with us today. We really appreciate it.
You're very welcome.
Firstly, what would you say the health benefits are of being vegetarian?
Gosh, right. Well, I've been a vegetarian for about 30 years. there have been lots of big studies about vegetarianism and its health benefits, and one of them, which is a big European study called EPIC, showed that if you were vegetarian, you had a less risk of getting cancers. That's partly because if you're vegetarian, you are less likely to be overweight, which is a big cause of lots of cancers. Also, you're less likely to get heart disease, and that's supposed to be due to a lowering of your cholesterol levels, which damage your arteries. So there's lots of physical health benefits of being a vegetarian. Also, if people are vegetarian, they tend to be less likely to eat refined sugars and have a risk of diabetes.
Would you say there are any negatives of being vegetarian? Maybe not negatives, but aspects to be aware of when you first start?
I think if you start and you're cooking from basic ingredients, there's hardly anything that can go wrong really, because vegetarian basic ingredients will give you all the nutrients that you want. I mean, a lot of people talk a lot of rubbish about, vitamin B12 deficiencies and all those things, which really is not relevant for vegetarians eating a balanced diet. So
Okay.
I would say that if you're a vegetarian, you do need to cook yourself a lot of the time and not kind of just use processed meals which are vegetarian because they are easy. Like don't eat pizza margarita every day. So, but then there may be a tendency to do that if you don't already have a knowledge of cooking and things like that.
Yeah.
I suppose one of the other, there is a bit of a social element about being vegetarian as well. So you don't, if you go out you're invited for a meal with people and they don't realise it, or they themselves don't know how to cook vegetarian and they get into a flap because perhaps they don't even invite you because they think you're vegetarian and they don't know how to cook vegetarian. What
would you say the most common vitamin or nutrient would be missing from a person's diet once they start?
Well, people do talk about B12 as being significant because that's present in some meat products, but it's also present in a lot of yeasts and Marmite type food. So I don't think that's really a problem at all.
Okay.
In fact, I've never seen it in all my working life as a GP. I've never seen anybody with B12 deficiency due to vegetarianism. The other thing that people talk about is iron.
I've heard that, yeah.
Again, I think that's a bit of a myth, really. There's plenty of... Because people think iron, you must eat red meat. But actually there's a lot of iron available in things like green vegetables. Vegetarians do tend to eat quite a lot of green vegetables because that's an easy option.
Yeah.
So, other than that.
And finally, would you recommend to people to become vegetarian?
I think it's best probably done by example, but people hopefully see me as reasonably healthy and they know that I'm a vegetarian. But you can be a bit, I don't want to be seen to be sort of holier than thou, or
as a health professional, would you recommend it as a healthier way of living, or?
I do think it definitely is a healthier way of living, and I wish more and more people were. But there's a difference between my beliefs about the healthiness of it and actually foisting it on other people.
Okay.
So I don't tell people to be, or suggest that they be vegetarian, but I do really encourage people to kind of move in that direction by eating fresh fruit and vegetables and cooking from basic ingredients. I think those are two really important things to do.
Slowly transitioning, basically, then not just jump. Okay, yeah. Well, thank you. You've answered all our questions.
You're very welcome.
Like flipped up.
Going to be getting a vegetable korma, so it's just this one. Oh, look at that steam. No!
Phoebe's just broken her 3 weeks of veggie in the airport. She ate a chicken wrap. Why did you do that?
Because there was nothing else. Why are you exposing me? I could have vlogged that later. So I've come to the end of being vegetarian for 3 weeks, and I've learnt one massive thing out of all of this. I've really realised how much your morals play a part in being vegetarian. For example, I would really struggle trying to find alternatives to eat, but I wouldn't try especially hard to try and find them. I'd just be like, oh, well, I just won't have a good lunch then today. I wasn't trying to think, oh, could I do this as a long-term thing? I was literally just waiting for the 3 weeks to end. And I think if I really felt that strongly about animals being killed for food, I would have found alternatives, and I would have tried to make this more of a long-term thing and not constantly thought about the end point, which, by the way, I did fail on. Yeah, I only got I got 2 weeks and 6 days. On the last day, I was at the airport going to Croatia, and yeah, there was nothing to eat, and I just went and got myself a chicken wrap. Jade did catch that on camera, as you know, so yeah, you got to see me being exposed. But I think I found this quite difficult, so maybe next time I could try being vegan, see how that goes.
Tell me where you thought you saw me. Tell me why